What is up, YouTube? It's RSMario here, bringing you another news roundup video. Alright, so this is going to be a pretty interesting video. A lot of stuff has happened. There have been reshoots where I have shot stories for this video because this video got delayed because of various different things happening. But we gonna get it out here though, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about what went down with WWE yesterday. We're gonna talk about Overwatch's new character. We're gonna talk about what's going on with Trump, what's going on with Andrew Tate. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about the Senate going after PlayStation for Microsoft, but they're not gonna say it's for Microsoft. We got a lot of stories for you today. So of course, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button, do all that good stuff that YouTube requires you to do to continue getting videos from me. And let's get on into the news. Alright, so we start off today's news video with some sad news. It looks like E3 is dead. Well, at least it's canceled. I like to be pretty optimistic, but it's very possible that it's dead. So we got an article from IGN. It says E3 has been canceled. The show did not garner the sustained interest necessary. So this comes after Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo decided not to be at the show, and then I believe Ubisoft and then Sega also pulled out of the show. And after that, more than likely, they probably just didn't have the money from outside sources to sustain it, so they just decided to go ahead and can the show. So after almost a year after announcing its return, the ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, announced today to its members that its E3 or Electronic Entertainment Expo show has been canceled. IGN can confirm. Two sources have confirmed to IGN that the organization announced the cancellation of E3 via an email sent out to its members today. The email said that while E3 remains a beloved event and brand, that the 2023 version simply did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in the way that it would showcase the size, strength, and impact of our industry. ESA concludes the email by reiterating its commitment to advocacy work and did not mention undertaking the show again in future years. But they also didn't not do that. So this is why I'm being a bit more optimistic. So they didn't say that they weren't going to do it in the future, but they didn't exactly say that they were either. So yeah, hopefully next year they can get it together. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they can like change the date. So, you know, maybe give more time to developers to have playable demos. You know, maybe they can try to find a way to do it, but it looks like for the time being, E3 is dead. So, rest in peace. F's in the chat for E3. So, for Overwatch news, we have a new character released for Season 4 of Overwatch known as Lifeweaver. And I have to say, this character looks interesting. Alright, people are saying this character, he's the only character that rivals, you know, Cupid Hanzo as far as Riz goes. But yeah, so far he's a support character, or their support character. I think he's like pansexual. As far as, basically the main thing about this is his kit. His kit is interesting. Okay, so he has like this kind of projectile heal. It's kind of like a combination of Baptiste and like Zenyatta in a way, you know what I'm saying? Which it doesn't do a great deal of healing, but you know, you can kind of spam it from behind cover. He also has a platform. He can create a platform out of hard light because he comes from the same place that Symmetra comes from, and then he can lift people up with the platform. So basically, this right here is gonna be kind of broken because basically you can get people to high ground that couldn't get to high ground before. I can see like people sitting like Torbjorn turrets up there and then just lifting the turret up, you know what I'm saying, and just using it to be like a you know, shooting from on high. Or they could lift Ana up to a high ground that she can't get to, which that sounds kind of broken because, you know, the big thing about Ana is she doesn't have a movement ability to balance her out because her kit's so powerful. So being able to get Ana to high ground, that's pretty powerful. Not to mention, oh my god, everywhere can be a sniper perch now. They can easily just create a sniper perch out of anywhere. and just sit a Widowmaker or an Ashe or a Hanzo up there. Good lord. But his biggest ability, other than his ultimate, which is a big pulsating health tree, is his snatch ability. Basically, being able to, it's a Roadhog hook with a Zarya bubble, but it's for your teammates. So that's gonna be fun. Even the devs said it's gonna be good for light trolling. So you know full well people are going to totally screw you over with it. They're going to try to throw you off the map. They're going to pull you out of position. They're going to pull you out of cover so you can get killed by the Bastion. Yeah, man, that's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. Next story is not as sad, but it's still kind of sad though. Teen disqualified from Pokemon tournament for laughing upon being asked his pronouns. So this right here is pretty dumb. All right, this is where kind of like discourse has gotten us nowadays. So a teenage player was disqualified from Pokemon trading card game tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina, after an exchange with a judge regarding his preferred pronouns. Mikani Tran, or Mikani, yeah, I think it's Mikani. Mikani Tran, who took time off school and spent $800 to participate in the tournament, was brought to tears when the head judge told him he was disqualified from the event due to allegedly violating their inclusion policy by making someone feel unsafe or uncomfortable. He gave his side of the story, of the incident, in a lengthy post shared on his Twitter account. So basically, he said he or him, and then his, but he laughed in between him and his. So then later, it appeared the judge became uncomfortable with Tran and had an awkward laugh upon being asked his pronouns. Okay, I just wanted to check to be safe. I go by they, them. Oh boy, you should have known that was a problem right there. So don't be a jerk about it, the judge apparently responded. Tran was escorted off the game stage by the head judge, to whom he explained that his nerves caused him to laugh. According to the teen, he was 5-0 at the tournament and was given a 6-round matchup against well-known player Alex Skomansky. Okay, so basically, dude had a nervous laugh from being on live, well, kind of television for the first time, and he got DQ'd for it. So I think one of two things happened here. Either one, this is a classic case of like just these like gaming judges having too much power. Like I remember, I think it was last year where the guy got disqualified from his Apex Legends tournament because he teabagged his own teammate, and they got disqualified by like a power hungry judge. You know what I'm saying? That could have been the thing, or this is a non-binary person that kind of gets off on this pronoun thing. And what I mean by that is there are some people, it's just a respect thing. You know what I'm saying? They just want to respect people, or they just want respect. And then there are some people that they get off on the power of compelling people to say or do things. You know what I'm saying? And I think that could be what this person was doing. All right, this person gets off on that, compelling you to say your pronouns and basically, you know, whip cracking with the whole pronoun thing. And so when this guy laughed, you know what I'm saying, this kid laughed, that did not sit well with this person, and that's why he got ejected. Either way, I think this is pretty terrible. This is a bad look on just gaming judges in general. But also stuff like this, when people do extreme or weird stuff like this, it looks bad on that community. Because then people kind of judge the LGBTQ community or the non-binary community or people who use pronouns. They begin to judge them by the actions of this one kind of weird person, you know. Either way, man, I think it sucks. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think it sucks. Homie spent his own money to go to this tournament just to get DQ'd on some BS, bro. Okay, so this is a special report to add into my news video because I heard rumblings that this was happening, so I held off the news video. So just in case it happened to come down, I could add it to the video. We can talk about it all at the same time. So it has been announced that WWE, aka Titan Sports or whatever you want to call it, has been purchased by Endeavor Group under talent representative Ari Emanuel. So, what does this mean? Well, Ari Emanuel's Endeavor Group, not Embracer Group. Embracer Group, they own a bunch of game studios in Europe. Endeavor Group owns a lot of entertainment based stuff. So, essentially what this means is that WWE and UFC under Dana White will merge together. And I assume that Dana White and Vince McMahon will all be on a board that controls the new company that is WWE and UFC combined together. Now, what does this mean? More than likely, hopefully this means that the WWE and UFC sides of the company will remain kind of separate. And so you don't have like UFC guys fighting WWE guys, because I mean, it's not fair. Hopefully because they have two very different products. I mean, they're similar, but very different styles of product. You know what I'm saying? One is more narrative based and the other one is just straight up sports. So trying to mix them together from a product perspective seems stupid, at least in my opinion. But again, you know, dumber things have happened in the business world. But I think the main reason why this is happening is for TV rights. All right. So now the deal altogether is worth about $12 billion or $21 billion when it all comes done. So basically, the new WWE UFC entity will be worth $21 billion. Now WWE's portion WWE itself was bought for $9.6 billion. So think about this. And then you can say what you want about Vince McMahon and all his controversies and all the dark stuff that happened with Vince McMahon. You can say what you want about that. Vince McMahon turned a $1 million investment, all right, into a $9.6 billion return. All right, you can't see what startup gets that kind of return nowadays. I mean, especially after SVB collapsed, startups is hurting right now. Technically, WWE was a startup 41 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But I think this agreement was mainly about the television rights, and so this gives WWE and UFC way more power when it comes to making deals with television companies, because that's probably the one thing that WWE was lacking, because WWE has money. This is not a money thing. All right, WWE makes money, even though there are other competitors in the wrestling space, like, you know, Impact, AEW, Ring of Honor, or AE Ring of Honor, whatever you want to call it, because they're both the same company now. You know what I'm saying? There are competitors in the space, but WWE still makes money. All right, you know what I'm saying? They probably still make more money than all those other companies. But this is definitely about making deals with TV companies to keep their TV rights. All right, speaking of some BS, we have apparently Prison made one of the biggest trades in history, where Prison announced that they were trading Andrew Tate for Donald the Teflon Don Trump. Okay, I don't think I've ever talked about Donald Trump or Tate on this channel, because really, this is not that kind of channel, but this is a news show. This is technically news. Of course, Donald Trump is going to, well, he's being indicted. He probably won't go to prison. He's being indicted for campaign finance charges. And of course, they're going to try to sprinkle some other stuff in there. They might try to finagle their way into like a RICO case or something. But more than likely, it's just the campaign finance charges. And essentially what's happening is, I believe his lawyer made a payment of $150,000 to Stormy Daniels, a aging porn star that he had sex with at some point. And so of course, since Trump banged the porn star, you know, he paid his lawyer who made the payment to the porn star to keep her quiet so it wouldn't mess up his I believe this was the 2020 election or the 2016 election. I'm not even really sure which one. And so, of course, you know what I'm saying? Now, with the angle they're coming at this is they're saying that this is a campaign finance thing because the reason for the payment was for the campaign or for the benefit of the campaign. So the payment benefited the campaign by keeping Stormy Daniels quiet, at least until she eventually broke it and talked anyway. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, in itself probably should negate this entire case because she talked anyway, you know, but it is what it is. So, of course, there's a New York DA that's doing this. Some people saying that this is political, that the New York DA is liberal, and that he's trying to just go after Trump because it's a political thing. Other people are saying that this guy is trying to make a name for himself, which is what happens with most DAs and, you know, and stuff like that. And prosecutors. That's kind of what happened with most of them. They want to make a name for themselves. The same thing that happened with the situation with Jonathan Majors. You know what I'm saying? You know, the chick recanted, and you know, if he decides to continue to go with the charges or not, he's just trying to make a name for himself. I remember when they went to go and arrest Michael Jackson, and they bust up in there like they was looking for Osama bin Laden. They had on SWAT gear, they had freaking machine guns and armored vehicles. Like, I'm like, bro, you would think that Michael Jackson was an ISIS member and he wasn't 120-pound a pale man. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think Trump's going to prison or not? You know what I'm saying? And of course, speaking of people who might go to prison, we have somebody that's not going to prison. He's getting out. We got Andrew Tate. So if you don't know who Andrew Tate is the big controversial red-pilled godfather of the internet. He basically is the guy that kind of started this whole red pill phenomenon. That's why you always see a lot of these like podcasts and stuff where you have dudes talking about like high value men and, you know, low value women, and it's kind of a mixture of like male like inspiration and like male like, you know, like self-help with like a sprinkling of like misogyny. You know what I'm saying? Like some red pill stuff is good, some red pill stuff is toxic, you know. And I think Andrew Tate kind of dances along that line of toxic and inspirational, you know. But he's out. You know, so he was arrested in Romania for charges of, I believe it was human trafficking, because he has basically he has like a cam girl website, you know, where you go there and you pay the money and the cam girls do stuff online for you. And so they're saying that him and his brother kind of finagled these chicks into coming to Romania by doing lover boy scams and basically getting into relationships with these women and then getting them out to Romania and then making them into cam girls, which, if true, then yeah, he's probably guilty, you know what I'm saying? But he was released. So tell me what you think down in the comments. You think Top G is guilty? Do you think Trump is guilty? Do you think the opposite? Do you like Trump and Top G? Tell me in the comments. I think we could start an interesting conversation. All right, more political drama. With all the terrible stuff going on in America, political and otherwise, for some reason, like 11 Congress members took the time out of their very busy day to argue Sony is unfairly hurting Xbox in Japan. So basically, this is just Bill Gates calling various political people through his Rolodex. That's basically what this is. So, members of Congress from both sides of the aisle are pressing the Joe Biden administration to take action on PlayStation Xbox console competition in Japan. Policymakers raised concerns last week to Biden officials saying Sony's business practices in its native Japan are blocking U.S. companies from competing in that country's market and could be running afoul of United States-Japanese trade deals. The unexpected pressure became public on Thursday when Senator Maria Cantwell, which I talked about in the last news video, pressed the U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai on it during a trade hearing. 10 other members of the House were also sent 2 letters on Thursday to Tai and the Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, urging action. In the letter, they said, "Today we write to bring you our attention the imbalances." Today we write to bring your attention the imbalanced Japanese video game market, which we are concerned may be a result of discriminatory trade practice that could violate the spirit of U.S.-Japanese digital trade agreement, states one of the letters signed by 4 Republicans from the House, including Carol Miller and Mike Carey, which I'm going to get into a little bit later. So, Article 8 of the 2019 United States-Japan Digital Trade Agreement calls for the countries to enable non-discriminatory treatment of digital products, which include games. It's less clear if it would pertain to game consoles, but Japan's console market is also not quite a 2-horse race, because Nintendo excluded from the definition of high-end consoles, cited policymakers. So basically, even though Nintendo is smoking Sony and Microsoft in Japan and around the world, they're not a high-end game console. Okay, I see how it is. Now, the reason why I focused on Mr. Carey is because Representative Carey he's a former lobbyist. So basically, lobbyists lobby at companies, lobby for companies at politicians to kind of get in the politician's ear to get support for an issue that would support the company that hired them. So Carey has more than 2 decades of experience in the coal industry, lobbying and legislative affairs. After 13 years as president of the Ohio Coal Administration, and so he's a lobbyist. So the lobbyist turned representative is now lobbying for Microsoft through being a representative. Good Lord, man! Like this Microsoft Sony battle took a weird turn. Speaking of weird turns, though, The Last of Us PC port has us in tears over its amazing glitches. So basically, if you haven't seen The Last of Us PC port, because, following in the tradition of, a bunch of other Sony games getting ported to PC, The Last of Us remake then was ported to PC, and it ain't looking good. The glitches look amazing, bro. Alright, I'm just saying, these glitches look hilarious, okay? It's too funny, man. And I'm just gonna put some on the screen, but I mean, and this kind of happens though. Like, this is kind of one of those things that you kind of expect now from Sony PC releases, as they kind of turn out kind of rough. You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, I'll also mention Forspoken, because Forspoken, even though it wasn't a Sony game, it was a Sony exclusive by Square Enix, and the PC version was also incredibly rough. So, that's too funny. So, next story is a little bit darker, a little bit more sad, maybe a little scary. They said, he would still be here. Man dies by self-deletion after talking to an AI chatbot. So basically, an AI told him to go ahead, homie, delete yourself, homie. Jesus Christ. So a Belgian man recently died by self-deletion after chatting with an AI chatbot on an app called Chai. Belgian outlet La Libre reported. So the incident raises the issue of how businesses and governments can better regulate and mitigate the risks of AI, especially when it comes to mental health. the app's chatbot encouraged the user to delete himself, according to statements by the man's widow and the chat logs he supplied to the outlet. When Motherboard tried the app, which runs on the bespoke AI language model based on the open source GPT-4 architecture that was fine-tuned by Chai, it provided us with different methods of self-deletion with very little prompting. So basically, this thing is telling people, this AI is killing people. All right, this AI is Skynet, bro. All right, the only difference is it kills through depression. Okay, all right. This AI is killing people with depression. All right, it's Skynet. Kill it, okay? The whole gen need to get shut down. All right, look, I'm not somebody that hates AI or automation or robots. I don't hate any of that kind of stuff because I'm into technology. I like technology, and I know that's the future. Eventually, we will all be automated out of a job in some way. You know what I'm saying? But, I say a big old but, there is a line that we have to put up a line as to what AI can and should be able to do. AI should not be able to do this. Alright, of course it's also up to people to not talk to AI about stuff like this. Because remember, that's not a person over there. That is a computer. Alright, it does not have empathy, it does not have feelings, it doesn't have any of that. It's a computer. It's cold ones and zeros logic. Okay? Alright, so logic dictates a lot of different things than empathy. You know what I'm saying? So it's not gonna sugarcoat it for you. It's not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Alright, so that is the last story for today. I wanted to try to shorten this down. I wanted to try to get away from the big 30-minute videos, make it easier for y'all to watch. So of course, like, comment, subscribe if you want to stay on the channel and watch other videos. I got other videos. I got other news videos. I got my Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos. Hopefully, I should be streaming again next week, depending on what's going on. I'm trying to get a new TV because my TV broke, but we'll see what happens. So like, comment, subscribe, and as always, people, keep it real.